David Draiman.
What's up, man?
Hey, dude. It's Klinger.
How you been, brother?
Very good. Very good. Man, just seeing your face, hearing that familiar voice has given me goosebumps. Thank you for the time. No doubt. I appreciate your time because this is a little bit of a downtime before you play a sold out hard rock show in a couple of weeks, man.
Looking forward to it, man.
I will tell you the last time I saw you was in Portland, Oregon. And we did a quick meet and greet and an awesome photo, but it was where Disturbed headlined after Manson and Rob Zombie. And
Not a bad place.
it was spectacular. It had been a couple of years since I'd seen you. The stage was a little bare, very simple, and holy God, what you guys did for that show was just bringing the heavyweights.
Thank you, bro.
So with that, I got to ask, what can people expect with Disturbed in 2021, almost 2022 for a sold out Hard Rock Live show, man? Kind of in your, in the Midwest again, bro.
Close to my original home, at least Chicago. But what they can expect, what fans can expect, is a level of intensity and ferocity of guys who've been dying to play for a very, very long time. I think people got a little bit of a taste of that at our performance in Louisville a little bit back.
Yes.
I think that in a more intimate environment and in a more controlled environment, don't get me wrong, I love big crowds and I love being on the outdoors, but when you're the headliner and all of a sudden you take the stage and it's 50 degrees out and you have to sing and you're one of those people that still sings for real, it's not easy.
Respect.
You know what I mean? So it's just, facts of life. It is what it is. So being in a indoor environment, I think we're looking forward to a good sweat and a really fierce jam and just pulling no punches.
You're just so good after all of these years. It's fun to see a Disturbed show and knowing that every musician in your band is playing their instrument and you are bringing that motorcycle boot leather voice, just a kick in the face. You know what I mean? And I mean that out of all due respect, dude.
Nah, that I'll tell you, man, in 25 years of doing this, that's probably the first time I've heard that description, and I like it.
I just love it because your voice is so when it's time.
I wish I had the durability of motorcycle boot leather. There's a lot of guys out there who are blessed with literally, we call them leather lung, so it's interesting that you say it like that. Like guys like, Halford or may he rest in peace, Dio, he was one of those guys.
Yes.
So I unfortunately could never count myself amongst them in terms of durability. I have to really watch what the hell I do in order to maintain. Those guys, in fact, I think Halford to this day, he smokes cigarettes and has before stage, after stage, it's like it's not an issue. So God bless. Man.
David, that's one of the questions I wanted to ask you because you go 1,000 miles an hour, man, and then you can just flip the switch and then you're beautifully melodic. I don't know how you do it, but what are the the Cliff Note version of how you take care of that instrument after all of these years?
Well, the best way to take care of it to begin with is not to injure it out of the gate. And a lot of people that attempt aggressive, gritty style vocalization don't always do it. I shouldn't say a lot of people, I should say some people don't do it with the proper breath support. And really, breath support is everything. And you only learn that by training, and only by training with the best. And whether it's Melissa Cross or anybody else out there, the best vocal coaches will teach you that breath support is everything. And there's a lot of guys that you can see it when they perform. The veins are bulging out of their
Yes.
throat. They're struggling. It looks like they're, straining on a consistent basis, as opposed to having comfortable control and still achieve grit. It's not an easy thing. It takes a lot of practice, and it's not a technique that's easy to master. In fact, you can hear pretty definitively, if you hear my vocals on, let's say, the Believe record and the 10,000 Fists record, those were records when I was healing from vocal fry that was brought about by excessive acid burns on the cords from acid reflux, really bad shit. Okay. Once I got that under control, I started to be able to sing more purely without as much garbage in there. And then trying to be able to recreate the grit in a way that I wanted to do in a controlled way was it was an arduous journey. It wasn't a simple thing, but you can hear the difference, because on those records, when I did the grit, it was just grit, and it was just a constant stagnant note, right? Okay. If you listen on, let's say, Immortalized or on Evolution, when I do the grit now, or even on that current track that I did with Nita Strauss of late, thank you.
Sick. Just sick.
Thank you. But the difference is being able to achieve pure, not forced vibrato while still maintaining the grit is only something I was able to achieve in the past 6 years, roughly 7 years, maybe.
That's unbelievable to hear, because you've been on the job for a while, dude.
Yeah, and we're always learning. We're always learning.
I love
hearing musicians that aren't, they're kidding themselves. I think all of us truly know that we're always trying to hone and perfect our craft, while at the same time dealing with the limitations that age and continued life experience do to you.
I appreciate you saying that. And it's amazing to me to hear you say that just happened in the past 6 years, because the aging process hasn't stopped. But your voice, and if you want to talk about the Nita Strauss track, well, I talked to Alice Cooper this summer because he played Chicago, and he was doing nothing but bragging about Nita and being so proud that was his guitar slayer. And so when I heard this song with your vocals and that nasty guitar and those sick ass drums, it is bananas. And I got to ask, does your band Disturbed get a little bit envious of a song like that?
Look, I in fact, they're very, they love it.
Okay.
Mikey loves it. Danny loves it. Well, look, I think that whenever any of us do something that is outside the realm of what has made us who we are, we still are rooting for one another. You know what I'm saying? And look, to be perfectly honest, if any member of the collective fails outside the collective, it still affects the collective, right? So you always want to make sure that anybody who does anything that's a member of this band, that it's a win. And to me, I knew that song was a win the minute I finished writing it. I mean, it's been very convincing since day one. So it'll be interesting to see what it does. But I'll be honest with you, I'm very, very much looking forward to this next run, because in between the Hard Rock dates and our festival that we're playing in Daytona Beach.
Welcome to Rockville.
We plan to kind of start writing again.
David Draiman brought this up. I did not bring this up.
No, well, it's the truth, and I'm looking forward to it. I've been dying, as I've been saying in the press on numerous occasions. I've been dying to write more new Disturbed material, and I think now everybody's finally in the headspace to do it. And I can't wait. That is perhaps what I am most looking forward to. Right?
I'm so glad that you said that. It's not as if the collection of music over the past 20 years isn't one hell of a pacifier.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be the, what's next, David Draiman generation, but I'm glad that you brought that up. I wasn't going to, because I just, the last year and a half has been wild for a lot of people. And
look, we'll always love playing and we'll always love creating, but I think like everybody, we need to balance it with who we are as human beings.
Yes.
And yeah, like you said, it's been the past couple of years that have been challenging for everyone. And, all of us have had our collective amounts of shit we've had to eat, excuse my French.
No.
But
I do want to ask you this. Sold out Hard Rock Live show in Indiana. Disturbed has had, your band has done a lot of heavy lifting for Welcome to Rockville and selling those tickets. What is it like, even after a couple of decades? How does it make you feel before you even get to that stage, knowing that those people, they work their ass off all year to make a paycheck, and they spend part of that to see your band and maybe buy a t-shirt and certainly your music? Is it still just does it make you buzz after all these years?
It's never lost on me. I don't think it's lost on any of us. It's funny, I was just saying it the other day in the car to my wife. We were listening to Octane, and the Nita track came on, and I got all and she's like, oh, look,
I love that you're saying this so much.
And she's like, it still does it to you. I'm like, yeah, it still does it to me. None of this is lost on us, dude. We still love the hell out of it. Yeah, every sensation associated with it, but in particular, we love playing live.
Yeah,
and but the creative aspect is something that I've been yearning to get back into the driver's seat again with, and to really start pumping out some amazing Disturbed material. I've been dying to write with Danny and Mike and John. And now we'll finally have the chance. We'll be in the same places at the same time. Something crazy is going to happen, that's for sure.
Thank you for saying that. And I so appreciate your time and respect it a lot. I can't stress that enough. I'm in Chicago. My wife and I just moved from Washington, D.C., but I'm on a lot of active rock stations around the country.
Coming to the show?
I am coming to the show.
All right.
And The Vengeful One is still just something that goes in this ear and doesn't just immediately go out that ear. There's something that happens when I'm listening to your band. Can we expect any pyro? And if so, how does that work? Does a pyro vendor come to David Draiman's house and you pick
it's venue specific, and it depends on the licensing. It depends on ceiling heights and flammability ratios and all
I don't think of this stuff
and you need to get a pyrotechnical engineer in there, and you need to get the fire inspector in there, and it's typically a whole company that's already licensed to do it that will do pyrotechnics. I do not believe that we have clearance to do it in that venue.
Yeah.
Believe you me, if I could use fire all the time, it's my favorite thing in the world.
I love that you said that.
Anywhere, to me, it's appropriate for all occasions.
My final comment is it more of a statement from a listener, and the lifeline of my job at Rock 95.5. We're a year old on this radio station. Is the relationship I have with listeners. And I mentioned something that I was going to talk to Dave Draiman on social media, and Troy asked me to bring up Cedar Tap, the Cedar Tap in Michigan City. He was there, I guess, 2 decades ago. I guess there was an album release party, and maybe even on the liner notes of a record, you said, "Thanks for coming."
Oh, yeah.
And I just simply wanted to bring that up because that is a flashback to maybe when you guys were just
before we were anything, before we were signed, when we were doing Southside Chicago places, and that was a circuit back then. And then the extent of our touring leaving the state was going to Cedar Tap, and then there was another place just on the other side too. Total throwback place. We loved it. I can't remember the name of it anymore, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, Cedar Tap was bring so many memories back. That used to be like our testing ground for songs. Even it was always an adventure that we, as the young musicians we were at the time,
Yeah.
looked forward to. You know, so it was fun.
I'm very thankful for your time. This conversation has made my day, and I cannot wait to share it with our listeners. And I cannot wait to be standing in front of a stage, Disturbed T-shirt over my shoulder. That's no bullshit. That is a way we can support your bands and you know, music in general. It's a ticket, it's a record, it's a song, it's a T-shirt, and that is something that I just want to spread. So I can't wait to be standing in front of that stage again. It's been a couple of years since Portland, man. And Dave, thank you very, very much.
Much respect. Thanks for the time.